Good morning and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is 10 o'clock in the morning. It is the 19th day of April 2022. It is 62 degrees and sunny here at Site B, and I am your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, sports, and general internet nonsense that is the OGGM. It's Tuesday, and thankfully there's not a lot going on in the world of role-playing other than this BOSR thing, which I'm not sure is a thing, so I'm not going to talk about it right away, but I have a feeling I'm going to eventually. So we have some lists. It's been a couple days since we took a look at lists and made fun of them. We have two lists to take a look at. The first list, of course, comes to us from cbr.com. It's 10 ideas for your next role-playing adventure. I think it's, of course, geared towards D&D, but these are, I guess, generally 10 ideas you could use for any role-playing game. So let's look. Now, it doesn't specify if these are ways to start a new game or just things to throw in if you need something to gear your next adventure. Number 10, a festival or carnival has something for everyone. So running an adventure starting in a festival or carnival. Sure. I mean, yeah, I have no problem with that. On paper, Witchlight was a great idea. I'll say that. I know I've said it before. I love the idea of Witchlight until it actually came out. Normal carnival with something sinister going on, you know? I mean, the Circus of Crime, that's an old one. Or just, a way to throw a few little weird things at a couple player characters. Is this real? Is it part of the carnival? Some games of chance, some weird, quirky NPCs to interact with. There's plenty of horror movies and action films that take place on festivals and carnivals. Festival gives an idea of what the seasons are and what the parties are and what's, important to the NPCs of the world. Generally would fit in any type of setting, be it fantasy, superhero, modern day, space, definitely spooky, creepy horror. I mean, remember when Witchlight came out? I was like, God, I hope we get creepy horror figures and maybe even like the tent. But we really didn't. But I was hoping for like creepy clown, creepy carnival figures. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. You could even have the player characters be people from the carnival. I mean, several superhero groups and supervillain groups and just general unusual NPCs. A carnival would be a great way to explain unique alien races that normally you wouldn't see in your D&D campaign with your elves and your dwarves, and suddenly you've got somebody who's running a Githyanki player character or something weird. Well, carnival. So yeah, that one's good. Number 9, a murder mystery. Absolutely not. Unless it's set in a campaign that doesn't have superpowers. Magic, superpowers, anything like psionics definitely make murder mysteries difficult to run. Because, hey, I could just wave my hand and poof, I know the answer. Also, I've run dozens of murder mysteries for various campaigns, including D&D, and players usually can't figure them out, find a way to cheat the mystery with their magic, or end up blaming the wrong person. Murder mysteries are really difficult. Unless there's something else going on. And if it's like a D&D murder mystery, superhero murder mystery, if they've got psionics, you've got to take into account that your players are going to have a utility belt worth of magical abilities to make what should be really difficult easy. But if you, the DM, come at it with the same thought pattern, well, then my bad guy has the same utility belt, so he could have done all sorts of things to make it so nobody knew it was him. Well, yeah, if it was a premeditated murder, sure. If we've watched enough murder mystery shows to know that a premeditated murder versus a crime of passion murder, if the guys, got some complex multi-level plot to kill the person while having a supposedly airtight alibi, and if you include magic, yeah, sure, but if it's just somebody got mad and hit somebody else over the head with a lamp and they accidentally died, yeah, but magic and superpowers definitely makes murder mystery running difficult. Unless it's like you're running a cop show or something where there's not superpowers to save them, to really pull them out, or if you take into account that, yeah, they're going to use their superpowers, and how many superpowers should you use to let them, the bad guy, do the same thing the player characters would do, and at what point in time are they going to complain? And I just don't recommend it. Formal events are classic. How is that different than festival or carnival? Formal event, a dance, whatever. Situations where they can't resolve conflict with combat, yeah, sure. Those are good for every now and then. It gives them a chance to use some skills they normally don't get to use. It gives them a chance to interact with NPCs, but formal events fall in to the same category as festival or carnival. Like a courtly dance. It's the same thing and the same thoughts, It allows you to interact with quirky people. It allows you to interact with the politics of the world. It allows you to meet strange NPCs and stuff like that you might normally not meet, or have the introduction of unusual character types or character races that you normally wouldn't meet. Other than that, I would just lump it with a festival or carnival or formal event. Same thing. Birthday, again, same thing as formal event. Other than also you now have to encourage the player characters to, whether they want to, get gifts or not. And then that just becomes an episode of shopping, which is fun at first, but then shopping adventures tend to get boring, both for the players and for the DM. And then you got to come up with dozens of interesting NPCs, and then where's the conflict? And I would just lump that in with formal event and festival. So basically just idea number one, any situation that involves some sort of celebration, interaction with NPCs, and combat is not the answer. So number 10, number 8, and number 7 so far exactly the same. Number 6, beach day to lighten the mood. Hey, somebody's been watching anime. Hey, it's the, typical anime bathhouse / spring beach adventure where we get to see the fan service of all the characters in their bathing suits and whatever, and investigate the romances, and then some hijinks happens at the beach. I guess. I mean, I can't remember any adventure I've ever run or play where the characters were like, hey, let's just take a day off and go to the beach. But it's happened in comic books enough and anime enough that you could throw it in. Some kind of, let's go to the beach for some reason. Maybe a party. Maybe let's just take a day off. Maybe they're invited. They have to wear beach clothes, bikinis, and bathing suits. And that places them in situations where they don't have access to their magic weapons and stuff. And then a sea monster shows up. But again, this just falls into the same thing as birthday, formal event, and carnival. Just situations where they have to interact and not resolve with combat. So they're all the same. Olympic Games, let players put their best feet forward. Skill, contests of skill instead of, again, it's just basically the same thing. This is just basically just situations where the player characters cannot resolve with combat, allowing them to resolve situations with skills. Do you really want a game where everybody's just, I run, I make my jump check, do I win or do I lose? I mean, I can't see that being exciting for anybody. But again, it just falls into the same category. So right now we basically just have 2 categories from this list. Murder mystery or cultural or events where you cannot resolve conflict with combat. Number 3, callbacks engage the overarching story. So references to previous adventures or references to previous NPCs or encounters to things that they've encountered previously. Maybe letting them see the results of their actions from a previous adventure. Maybe not everything was all good and happy once they, cleared out the evil cult or stopped the villains, and now a couple months later they hear that, oh, actually you did more harm than good. I was playing in a game last night, and I was starting to say, I think we've been in this town a little too long. They're going to start blaming us for the fact that those NPCs died, or that those other two NPCs haven't come back yet. Sooner or later, they're going to be like, yeah, I noticed that all the things seem to be getting worse since you guys showed up. So I definitely agree with that one. So we have, so callbacks. I don't know if you could base an entire adventure on a callback, but you definitely could pepper it in. I think players would enjoy seeing how the world responds to stuff they did in the past, whether they're viewed as heroes, whether they hear a story and they're like, wait, that was us. Or whether they hear the story and somebody else is taking credit for it, and then they're like, wait, that was us. A reoccurring NPC who maybe got away and you haven't thought about for like a couple episodes, and then that guy shows up. One of the favorites a friend of mine did was a villain that got away from a campaign we were playing in college, and then the villain would run ahead to cities that he thought that we were going to, and put out wanted posters. So when the player character showed up in the city, already the city was under the assumption that these guys were horrible people because somebody's putting up wanted posters, Bob the Wizard wanted for crimes against, and that was how this guy was getting his revenge, was just basically turning all the cities against us. So yeah, I like that one. Dreamscapes and Mindscapes ask the big questions. Running a dream adventure is a lot like running a hacker adventure in Cyberpunk, where only one person is key to what's going on, and everybody else either is just forced to watch or forced to be outside and then try and think of ways to either keep that person alive while they're hacking, or save them from the dreamscape. Shared dream adventures, sure. But that just categorizes as a regular adventure with just unusual rules, and whether that actually, if you die in the dream, you die in real life. I could see personal experiences. No, I don't think they'd work much the same way like a Netrunner adventure doesn't really work in Cyberpunk, because only one person is getting all the attention and the other four players are just like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So yeah, I don't know about that one. I would probably say no. Take the fiction a level deeper. Have a fictional world inside your fictional world. So I guess this guy is saying, like, hey, while your player characters are walking around in the magic world of Stevedom, they counter, a series of fantasy novels or a magical book that they get lost in. Or isn't that just a demi plane? Yeah, I know, that was stupid. Imposters presents a social challenge. Somebody going around pretending to be somebody else. That would be great for some political nonsense if they could prove the guy sitting on the throne isn't the person that everybody thought he was, or if somebody's going around claiming to be the adventurers and taking credit for their stuff, or taking, doing things and making the adventurers look bad. So when the adventurers actually do show up, people are like, oh my God, those are those guys who did okay, yeah, that one I could get behind for at least an adventure. So that imposters I like. To take the fiction level deeper, sure. I mean, it's nice to know that there's real working cogs in the world, but having them like fall into a magic book, that's just an adventure. The dreamscape thing, yeah, that's just an adventure. And the only way that would work is if you find ways for everybody to be active. Callbacks, I like that one. The Olympic Games, beach day, birthday, formal event, and carnival, festival are all the same thing. Murder mysteries rarely work. All right, list number 2. 10 unpopular opinions according to Reddit. 10 unpopular opinions about role-playing according to Reddit. Reddit is not a real play. Cliches are okay. That is an unpopular opinion. Cliches are okay. An unpopular opinion in gaming is cliches are okay. Whoever wrote that has never played a game of any type. They are filled with cliches. I have yet to play at a game, run a game, where there's not at least one cliche, whether it's simply the dwarves have Scottish accents cliche, or whatever. Cliches are always okay. They're great. They're something they recognize. They're easy to fall back on. They're a good building block to work off of. So, yes, that is, I don't know why that's a popular opinion. That is a huge aspect. Less dark vision is more. Is it a popular opinion? So you're saying you want to get away from dark vision? You're the same people who are like, I want every race to have every ability so nobody's special. Sure, darkness is scary. Not being able to see the dark is scary. Having to rely on the torch is scary. But if you take away the dark vision from the races that have that ingrained into themselves, then that's sort of unfair. Like, you know, also there's some races that have dark vision that make no sense. Like, this race does, but this race doesn't. And wouldn't it make more sense for that race not to have dark vision? Like, why would halflings have dark vision? They live on the surface, you know. Less dark vision is more. I don't know why that's an unpopular opinion either way. So, yeah, let's skip that one. Let player characters die. That's an unpopular opinion? Oh, no, definitely. Let them die. Otherwise, where's the threat? The threat of death is what makes the adventure exciting. The possibility that you could lose was exciting. Plus, you know, it's impossible to stay dead in a comic book / D&D, and the characters aren't real, so big deal if they die. Your piece of paper died. God, move on. That one's dumb. The game isn't for everyone. That's not a popular opinion? No, that's absolutely true. The game isn't for everyone. There's definitely people who could come, you know, find that I don't like D&D. Or this game isn't for me and I want to try a different game. I don't know how that is an unpopular opinion. That's 100% true. The game is not for everyone. My game is not for everyone. D&D is not for everyone. There's people who are going to either just not like gaming at all or like different games, and that's okay. Evil can be interesting. That's an unpopular opinion. Hello? Who's the most interesting character in Silence of the Lambs? It ain't Clarice. It's Hannibal Lecter. Who's the most interesting character in Star Wars? It's Vader. Evil characters are amazing. How could evil can be interesting be an unpopular opinion? That's just stupid. Nothing wrong with humans. That's an unpopular opinion. Yes, I know that's an unpopular opinion right now, that everybody wants to be, you know, a half elf, half orc, half tiefling, half fish, half cardboard box with the abilities of a car and a undead and, you know, be a trans. But no, there's nothing wrong with being a human. Humans are the, you know, this one's not too ridiculous to even touch. Yeah, no, I'm not even touching that one. Fewer dice sets. Unpopular opinion. Less dice. Obviously, whoever wrote this is not aware of Laura Bailey or all the other dice goblins out there. And some games use different dice than the DC, you know. I don't know why that's an unpopular opinion. If you want to have tons of hundreds of dice, great. You're supporting the hobby. You're supporting your local store. It brings you pleasure. It doesn't hurt anybody. Sure, be Laura Bailey. Have 10,000 sets of dice. Or just have, you know, one set of dice. I don't even know why is that a thing? Respect the rules as written. Yeah, sure. Acknowledge the rules are written, but everybody homebrews whether they even know it or not. Some people even homebrew without thinking about it. You're just unconsciously homebrewing. When we were play testing D&D Next, which, you know, eventually became 5e, there were rules that we misinterpreted or didn't even know. Like, we did criticals wrong for like a year and a half before we actually looked it up and went, oh, we're doing this wrong. And nobody got advantage or disadvantage for like the first 3 months. So yeah, respect it, but then yeah, do whatever you want. It's your game, whatever. I don't know why that's an unpopular opinion. Split the party. Splitting the party is an unpopular opinion only amongst players. I have never heard any DM go, I don't want to split the party. No, split the party. It allows you to do more damage. Start at level 1. That's an unpopular opinion. I know a lot of people want to start at level 3 because it gives them more stuff. I don't know why that's a thing. If you're playing 5e already at first level, you're practically a comic book superhero. If you're playing AD&D where you can die from a dagger, then maybe, I don't know. I mean, I know some people say that Gygax wanted people to start at third level in his games, because even he felt that first and second level were not powerful enough. I don't know why that's an unpopular opinion. Sure, it's your game. Start on the level you want. Most of these are dumb. I don't know why any of these are unpopular opinion. Cliches are okay? Yes, of course they are. Less dark vision is more. I don't even know why that's a thing. Let player characters die? Absolutely. The game isn't for everyone? That's absolutely true. Evil can be interesting? Absolutely true. Nothing wrong with humans? Absolutely true. Fewer dice sets? Why is that a thing? Who cares? How is that hurting you? Why is that even an opinion? Respect the raw. Yeah, sure, whatever, okay? You should acknowledge that you know what the rules are, whether you actually use them or not. Split the party. If you can do it, and if you can handle the pressure, and if the player characters are okay, having, one group not have camera time for 5 minutes, yes, definitely. If anything, it kind of lets things harder or easier for, I don't know, start at level 1. Why is that? I don't know. Sometimes I think the people who make these lists don't actually play the game, and they just make them just to incite heat and come up with the stupidest things that they can think of just to upset people. Anyways, that's it. I got to answer the phone, so talk to you later.